For almost 100 years, the FIFA World Cup has been decided by moments. One goal, one mistake, one save, one decision. But every now and then, football produces something far bigger. A few minutes so unbelievable they don't just change one match, they change an entire tournament. FIFA World Cup 2026 gave us exactly that. It lasted only 13 minutes, yet when those 13 minutes were over, the knockout bracket looked completely different. One football giant had been rescued. Another nation's dream had been shattered. Millions of fans couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. And the road to the World Cup trophy would never be the same again. Because what happened wasn't just one of the greatest comebacks in football history. It may have been the moment that defined the entire tournament. Let's begin. Before those 13 minutes, the story of FIFA World Cup 2026 looked completely different. Argentina arrived as the defending world champions. Lionel Messi was chasing what many believed could be the final chapter of the greatest international career football has ever seen. Around them, France looked unstoppable. Spain were rising faster than anyone expected. England believed their long wait could finally end. Brazil wanted redemption. Every football fan already had their own prediction for who would lift the trophy. But there was one thing almost everyone agreed on. Argentina simply had to survive the round of 16. Lose there, and one of the biggest stories in World Cup history would end overnight. Standing in their way was a fearless opponent with absolutely nothing to lose. They weren't supposed to eliminate the defending champions. They weren't supposed to dominate one of football's biggest nations. But football has never cared about expectations. And within minutes of kickoff, the impossible started becoming reality. Suddenly, Argentina weren't controlling the match. They were chasing it. Every attack looked dangerous. Every mistake felt bigger. Every minute increased the pressure. Around the world, millions of fans started asking the same question. Could the defending champions actually be going home? Nobody knew that the most important 13 minutes of the tournament were about to begin. The scoreboard didn't just show Argentina were behind. It showed something far more shocking. Time was running out. Every pass became heavier. Every missed chance felt like the end. The pressure wasn't only on the players. It was on an entire nation. On the defending champions. On Lionel Messi. Then everything changed. One attack. One goal. Suddenly belief returned. The stadium woke up. Argentina pushed forward with an urgency they hadn't shown all match. Their opponents, who had looked fearless for almost 80 minutes, suddenly had something to protect. Football changes faster than any other sport. Momentum isn't measured in statistics. It's measured in emotion. The second goal arrived before anyone had time to recover. What had looked impossible only moments earlier suddenly felt inevitable. The energy had completely shifted. Players who looked exhausted were now sprinting forward. Defenders who had been calm started making mistakes. Every touch carried panic. Every clearance invited another attack. Then came the moment that changed everything. One final breakthrough. One finish. One explosion inside the stadium. In just 13 unforgettable minutes, Argentina had turned elimination into survival. But the comeback didn't just save one match. It completely changed the rest of FIFA World Cup 2026. And that's the part almost everyone missed. For most fans, the story ended with the comeback. Argentina survived. The stadium celebrated. The headlines were written. But that's not what made those 13 minutes historic. The real impact came after the final whistle. Because in the World Cup, every result changes far more than one match. It changes the entire bracket. One victory decides who you face next. One elimination opens the door for someone else. One comeback can completely reshape the road to the final. If Argentina had been eliminated that night, the defending champions would have disappeared from the tournament. One half of the bracket would suddenly look completely different. Every remaining contender would have seen a new path to the trophy. Instead, those 13 minutes kept one of football's biggest giants alive. They kept Lionel Messi's World Cup dream alive. They forced every remaining team to rethink the tournament. But there was something even more important happening. That comeback exposed the biggest truth of FIFA World Cup 2026. Nobody was safe anymore. Not the defending champions, not the favorites, not even the biggest names in football. Throughout this tournament, we've watched giants struggle against fearless opponents. Smaller nations no longer arrive hoping to survive. They arrive believing they belong. Modern football has erased the fear that once protected the traditional powers. Better coaching, better tactics, better preparation, better players. The gap between football's elite and everyone else has become smaller than ever before. Argentina escaped this time. But the warning was impossible to ignore. One bad spell, one defensive mistake, one moment of panic. That's all it takes to destroy 4 years of preparation. Those 13 minutes weren't just about Argentina. They were a warning to every team still dreaming of lifting the World Cup. Years from now, most fans won't remember every score from FIFA World Cup 2026. They won't remember every group stage match or every possession statistic, but they'll remember moments. And sometimes one moment tells the story of an entire tournament. Those 13 minutes reminded the football world why the World Cup is unlike any other competition. Reputation means nothing once the whistle blows. History doesn't score goals. Statistics don't protect you. The badge on your shirt doesn't guarantee survival. Only the next 90 minutes matter. That's why World Cups create legends. Because every team starts believing, every underdog starts dreaming, and every favorite knows that one mistake can erase everything. Football has entered a new era, an era where no giant is untouchable, an era where courage can defeat history, an era where belief travels faster than reputation. Those 13 minutes didn't just save Argentina. They showed the entire world that football's old order is disappearing. And that may become the defining story of FIFA World Cup 2026. Maybe Argentina will go on to lift the trophy. Maybe another giant will survive until the very end. Or maybe a new nation will write the greatest underdog story the World Cup has ever seen. Nobody knows. But one thing is already certain. FIFA World Cup 2026 will be remembered for proving that no lead is safe, no favorite is unbeatable, and no prediction is guaranteed. Because sometimes the biggest story of a World Cup isn't the team that wins it. It's the 13 minutes that changed everything. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to the 26th Minute for more football documentaries, hidden football stories, World Cup analysis, and the biggest moments shaping the future of the beautiful game. And now it's your turn. Were these really the 13 minutes that changed FIFA World Cup 2026 forever? Or do you think an even bigger moment is still waiting to happen? Let me know in the comments below. The story of this World Cup isn't over yet.